Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Blessed, homie. Blessed to do another show with you on this first Saturday of the month.
Definitely. April 1st, 2023. This is not an April Fool. You are watching Kamau and Felix on Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. And as always, click like, click share, get on the telephone, send some text, send some DMs to some people, let them know that we are here again and we getting ready. We are starting a wonderful, wonderful show on this April 1st, 2023. We want to start the show by saying congratulations to Cass Technical High School on winning the Class A boys basketball championship led by Coach Steve Hall, an alumnus of the school. And if I remember correctly, this is Steve's third state championship and first one at Cass Tech. And I'm really proud to see that. Detroit Public Schools are shining as always, academically as well as athletically. And so congratulations to them. And hopefully they can continue to make moves in that direction. They had that team has excellent players on it, all state, all district, all that good stuff, blue chippers, and congratulations to them. And of course, we got to start with a sorry April Fool's joke. Let's see here. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo hoo.
Don't cry. It's just a funny April Fool's joke. Oh, we'll be here all hour. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Try the meal. All righty. Now that we got that craziness out of the way, let's get back to the show. All righty. Let's see here. Once again, don't forget to click like, share, get the book. Gratefulness Journey Along Every Day by Mr. Marcus Holmes, that young man right there. All right. And also really quickly, let's talk about the other shows in the Love and Stuff diaspora that we would love for you to be a part of and support. Love and Stuff on Tuesday nights, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Love and Scriptures, Reverend Williams on Wednesday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. Be Encouraged by our own good Reverend Dr., newly minted Dr. Edner. Be Encouraged on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. So come on out and find those shows, and you will be encouraged and highly blessed and favored. Lots of different good topics spiritually and throughout those shows. Those of which I pay attention to myself. And so let's get down to the show. And as always, we want to start with the topic of the week, which is selected by you, the listeners and watchers of the show, the NCAA basketball tournament. We've had some doozies of games going on. We're going to start with the men's first. Who would have thought that San Diego State be playing FAU, Florida Atlantic? If you put that down in Vegas as a bet, you deserve those millions that you're going to get back. I didn't think that that's just no. Miami and UConn, maybe. Both those teams were strong down the stretch. San Diego State and FAU. Nobody heard of San Diego State until Fisher went out there at he left Michigan.
No, San Diego State is where Kawhi came from. Kawhi Leonard.
I'm going to say that again. Nobody heard of San Diego State before Steve Fisher went out there to bring that program back. Kawhi Leonard was after Fisher. And he was there. They went. Did they even make the tournament? They might have made the tournament, but I know that Fish went out there, and that's when I heard of him. And then Hope was out there with football, and but that was a basketball school long before that. Florida Atlantic, the Owls. That's another one. We hear about them every time tournament come around, but in the Final Four. In the Final Four, I don't know. I'm not disparaging them. They earned everything they got, and they didn't those games. They wouldn't took care of business. They beat those teams soundly that they played against. So I'm not taking anything. But my point is, would you have bet that in the beginning of the season, even in the beginning of the tournament, that they would have gone that far? Definitely not.
Oh no, absolutely not. Agreed.
Of course, we're gonna do our predictions at the end of the show for who could possibly win those games and go into the finals. and Miami UConn, but I want to spend the bulk of the time on these women's games from last night. Woo, we had two doozies. We had LSU Virginia Tech and Iowa South Carolina. LSU defeated Virginia Tech after being down 9 going into the fourth quarter. LSU just seemed like they all the momentum they took the sideline, took it from the sideline going to the fourth quarter. And Angel Reese led that team, and she pretty much out-talked them and bullied them, those Virginia Tech girls, the number 1 seed, into a victory. How'd you like that game? I know we were both going back and forth on those games. How'd you like it?
Let me see here. I'm still caught on that April Fool's joke, but okay. Let me see.
Got one more.
Yeah. You know what? I like LSU coach. She had Brittany Griner when she was at Baylor. She used to coach Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember her name off the. I kind of like her. Okay, and Angel Reese. I'm not a fan, but I'm gonna give her some respect last night because when they played South Carolina, she didn't do squat, but she did show up last night. Okay, I was gearing towards LSU South Carolina rematch. That didn't happen, so I don't know because I'm still like Angel Reese. It's just I mean the point guard number 45, she cold. I like her. Mm-hmm. And the other chick that plays opposite to Angel Reese, I like her, but not a fan of Angel Reese, man. Angel Reese, because against South Carolina, you did nothing. You didn't do nothing.
Yep.
But, okay, Virginia Tech. Okay, Virginia Tech is equivalent to Florida Atlantic, correct? Because you wouldn't have put Virginia Tech in the Final Four, right?
Well, yes and no. They were the number 1 seed, so if you just going by seeds, yes, you would have said so. I don't think that they were that good. Because I did see them early in the season. They were, classic 5-touch, 6-touch team, back screen,
right.
Dumping in the post, scoring kind of team, good jump shots, that sort of a team. Had they made it, I wouldn't have been, upset. But I didn't think that they,
So do you think they were worthy of having a number 1 seed?
According to their record, yes.
No. I'm asking you, do you feel they were worthy?
Yes, according to their record, yes. According to the
they were 29-4, wasn't they?
Something close to that, yes. But they were, and when you look at the records, yes, for what they did in the ACC, and for what juxtaposed to the other teams out there with the records that they had, I would have said yes, they were number 1 or 2 at the very least.
Okay, I don't think they were a 1. I think they were 2. Possibly 3. I don't think they were a 1. Your 1 was obviously South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Your LSU, I don't even think LSU is a 3. I think they're more like a 2. As far as Iowa, I mean, you got Caitlin, right?
Yeah, but you got to remember, coming out of the Big Ten, Indiana was better than Iowa.
Right, because Indiana had a whole core of a team. If you box and won Caitlin, game over. That's why I'm shocked Don didn't do that last night. All you gotta do is box and won her. You box and won her, dude. It becomes Michael Jordan and the Jordan-eras. You can go ahead and let her have her 30 or whatever. What did she finish with? 41, so she made a tournament record.
Yep.
Box and won her and go ahead. You can have your 41. We're gonna see what those other 4 do. Don, I can't believe Don didn't do that.
Because that's what Iowa did.
I would have boxed and won her all night. I would have threw so many zone looks not zone. I would have pressed her from the time she got the ball from the inbound. I pressed her 94 feet. I would have made her work that much harder. That's why I'm like, what is Don doing?
That's what Iowa did to South Carolina.
Right, because I am a fan of Miss Staley as well as you are. I didn't understand the game plan. I really didn't. I didn't understand. I
agree with you. I agree 100%.
Right, because I would have been like, hey, for where she go, you go. You be her. You be that jersey that's on her back. And when she get beat,
there was no adjustment.
It was no adjustment. So I don't know. Like maybe Down was like, I'm not. I mean, I get it. It's 32. What were they? 32-0. So I get it. why would we change what we need to change when we 32-0? I get it, but it's called in-game adjustments, Don.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, your pride and all this. Nah, man, it did. Big girl didn't do nothing.
Nope.
The one Asia in the middle, man, she didn't do garbage.
Now,
so
it's funny that you said that. They boxed, like you said, they should have boxed number 22. They boxed the big girl. There was 3 people around her at all times.
Right.
Her and Boston at all times. It was 3 people, 3 feet in the paint. It was 3 people in the paint at all times around them, and they were clutching and grabbing and out of the referee's view, and that frustrated them all night. Now, here's my official thoughts on that game. South Carolina was legally cheated, and here's why I say that. To me, watching that game was like I've seen it 1,000 times. It's like watching a suburban team playing in a city team. Maybe not so much now because the suburbs and inner city, the dynamics have changed. But back in the 80s, it was like watching a team from the inner city go play a team in the suburbs in the districts that advance in the state tournament.
So for the viewers to really understand what you're saying, you would say a Southwestern with Jalen Rose versus a Country Day with Chris Webber.
Not exactly, because that dynamics will be different. I would say Southwestern versus what's the team out there? Clarkston.
That's the same thing.
No.
Yes, it is.
If you look at that team with at DCD, where they had the dynamics of that team was Chris, Ayapo, and other players of color, as opposed to going to Clarkson playing almost fully Lily White. First,
you talking about with Dane Fife and all them?
Yes, that's what I mean. So look at Iowa. Look at Iowa. Look at Iowa. Look at the dynamics of Iowa. Fully, they have one black assistant. They have one black player on that team.
Who's going to go to Iowa though? Come on.
That's my point. That's exactly my point.
You go to Iowa because
that was the dynamic of the game.
But I'm saying you go. Okay, so you go to Michigan State because you couldn't get into Michigan, right?
Now, but let me finish my point. That was the dynamic of the game. And then you got referees who see themselves in the other team on Iowa. If you look at that one referee with the short black hair, she calls 60% or more of those fouls against South Carolina. So it was like those old school days where, as an inner city school going out to the suburbs to play, you're not going to get nothing.
Okay.
You're not going to get nothing. And
let me destroy that. Okay.
Hold on. I'm not finished. Okay. But they still had their chances down the stretch. Even though all that was going against them, all that frustration, all that clutching and grabbing that they weren't used to having to deal with, that they normally do themselves, they still had their chances. They were down. And also, here's something that you see also out in the burbs. They play 4-on-5. They said, you right here, freshman, sophomore point guard, you gonna beat us. You gonna have to beat us. We're gonna let you shoot. I'm gonna sag all the way down in here. We gonna double Boston. We gonna double the other big girl, and you gonna have to beat us. First half she went on for 3. Second half she hit 3 for 3, but she put them back in the game. So to me, that game it was almost Duke UNLV-esque back in the day. Also, more like a modern day Hoosiers, and how
it couldn't have been Duke and UNLV. Okay, hold on. When you say Duke and UNLV, which year are you talking about? They went undefeated that year.
Yes, the year that they beat them in the Final Four.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Which year are you talking? 90 or 90?
When Duke beat UNLV, that was the last year that UNLV even went that far.
No, the year before that, UNLV won it. They beat Duke by 30 in the championship.
No. When Duke beat UNLV is what I'm talking about. The next year.
Okay, that was the following year. They were defending champs. They were 32-0 when they lost to Duke in the Final Four in the championship. No, in the Final Four. Yes, because they played Kansas in the championship. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, my friend. Okay, how we compare with Southwestern versus Country Day. You don't see the parity with that? What was Duke? Duke was Bobby Hurley, Caucasian. Christian Laettner, Caucasian. Cherokee Parks, Caucasian. The only two blacks was on there was Anthony Davis, was Thomas Hill, Grant Hill, and Antonio Davis. What are you talking about? Jalen Rose even said it himself. Duke is the school that don't recruit me. So that's what I'm saying. That's how that you can't put them two together. That's my whole point and what I was saying.
I don't see Country Day as a Duke type. Maybe in terms of reputation, but in terms of the schooling, in terms of the team, the makeup of the team from when we were there in late 80s and 90s, as compared to looking at the makeup of that Iowa team, I see it totally different. Because you're looking at 14.
Have you seen the Country Day team with Shane Battier?
No, I'm not talking about them. You said Chris Webber. What I'm saying is, but not with.
What I'm saying is with Chris Webber. That's all you knew on Country Day. Chris Webber, right?
I didn't because I was up the street, so I knew.
Okay. I take you a little bit further. After Chris left, the next big name that went to Country Day was Shane Battier.
Shane Battier, yes.
Okay, where did Shane Battier go to college? Duke. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You didn't every time Country Day had a team, it only was one person, Chris Webber. You didn't hear about the point guard. You didn't hear about the two guard. It was Chris Webber. When Shane went to Country Day, that's all you heard about. Shane Battier. Where did he go?
But you talking about on the larger sense? Only reason I can say that because we were up the street from them. They was always in our gym. We was always in their gym. You know, they talk a lot of junk. They kick the crap out of us. So I knew the dynamics a little bit differently in terms of what you said.
What school was that you was up the street from?
I went to Cranbrook. Which is
literally you went to who?
I graduated from Cranbrook, which is literally right up the street, not 2 miles up the street.
You went to Cranbrook?
Yes, sir.
Off of Woodward in 13 Mile or whatever that is?
Yes.
Hey, man, April Fools. Bye. Hey, see you at the next
Bye. Oh, that's not April Fools. That's real. That's real. That's
real. No joke, for real. No April Fool, no that. You went to Cranbrook?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So my first 2 years at Murray Wright, my second 2 years at Cranbrook. So that's why I say I saw the dynamics differently of what
exactly.
What
that's
they
what I'm not understanding how you not. I mean, you did say you agree with me. That's what I'm saying. So the difference was at Cranbrook, y'all showered after games, right? Exactly. Bingo. I got it. I told you, man, I'd be over here stirring, man.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Okay, so what did you do? Okay, so the games after Murray Wright, what did you do?
Oh, Coach made us go get in the shower at Murray.
Right, what I'm saying, okay, because you said the word dynamics. Was the dynamic different at Cranbrook than it was to Murray Wright?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. See, I got you coming over to the side. Come on. I got you. I told you, man. Okay.
But I can tell you, from the time I turned that game on, I had to take my son really quickly in between games to grab something. I came back, and I said, this game is over.
Right, because
South Carolina was even before that. As soon as I turned that game
it was
on,
over before you even text me.
Even before that, I saw those games. In the first quarter, I knew that I was going to win that game.
Wow.
Long before Leah Boston got those 2 fouls.
Okay.
Just from it seemed like from the opening tip that it was Iowa's game to lose, not South Carolina's game to win.
So it was 7-5, in other words.
Almost 8. Because you know they do 3 referees.
Yeah. Wow,
but
that's crazy.
But they still had their, at the end, even through all of that, they still had their chances.
They still
when you rattled out there
down to the end. You're absolutely right. Yep. You're absolutely right.
They still had their chances.
Yep.
All right. We want to thank Eddie Cooper for joining us this morning. Mr. Dan Williams, thank you also for joining us this morning on April 1st, 2023. Don't forget to get the book, Gratefulness Journey Every Day by Mr. Marcus Holmes, our proprietor, and the person who vision is this of all of the things, love and stuff. Let's see, we have love and stuff. We have love in the scriptures, and I'll shoot through the family is Be Encouraged, those shows. And also, of course, Sports Talk with Kamau Felix. It is still pretty early, so get on the phone, text somebody, get somebody DM, let them know that we are here talking about sports, and we are moving into our next segment, which is NBA. And as always, we start with the Pistons.
Man, stop.
This is the second year in a row we've done this. Down the stretch, we started, they were 12-36, 13-40, 15-44, 15-48, 16-55, 16-61. That's every other week for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was that 6? So that's the last 3 months. The last 3 months. That's
you say their record is what?
Right now they're 16-61. They've lost 6 consecutive games since our last show.
16 and what?
16-61.
So they got 5 games left.
Yes.
So that means by the next show, it's possibly they could still be 16 and oh man, that's terrible.
We're coming down the stretch. The season was just about to be over. I think the season will be over by the time we have our next show.
Season be over. Yeah,
season be over. So they'll be playing the play-in games, and
so they won't be playing. They won't be playing in the play.
Oh no! They will have already had their trip to Cancun and back by then.
Clean out your lockers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Exit interviews have been made. The Pistons will probably have fired the coach by then, even though he's a part of the blame, but I don't completely blame him totally. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's see. Now we're going to go talk about the NBA. The biggest story right now to me is the Mavs are on the outside looking in. Initially, they were looking good towards making the playoffs. They were in the 5-6 seed when Kyrie got there. Mm-hmm. Now they are, let's see, their record is 37-40, and they're 3-7 in the last 10 games, and they are in the 11th spot. And Oklahoma City is just above them at 38-40. I'm not saying that they won't at least make the play-in game, but right now that's that 77. They have 5 games left as well, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good for the Mavs. And that's the team here in the city where I am, and I didn't get to see them, live this year. But I've been a passive fan of theirs for a while, going back to Duckworth and those teams. Rolando Blackman. I've always liked the Mavs and playing the reunion and ringing. But this year in the AAC, they are not doing fairly too well. A lot of it is, of course, it's a direct correlation to Kyrie joining the team and where they are. I was happy to see him go to Dallas because I thought that he would have, had a chance to flourish there. But I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts, sir?
You got 2 alpha males who don't play defense. That's the bottom line. You brought another alpha male to contest with the alpha male that you already got. He don't play defense neither. Kyrie play out of 100. Kyrie play about 15%. Luka plays none. Period. Mm-hmm. So therefore, then at the end of the game, it's tough for Jason Kidd to say, okay, let me draw up this play. Do I go with Kyrie or do I go with Luka? You've been going with Luka before Kyrie got there, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's like, okay, when they out there together, it did look promising because both of them, that one game, I think Kyrie had like 25, Luka had like 28. So yeah, it did look good. But down the stretch, they don't play no D. At the end of the day, you're going to have to play defense. I don't care if it's 10%, 15%. You're going to have to play defense. That's what happened with Steph. I go back to it every time. The Golden State Warriors, yes, Clay plays defense. Steph doesn't. Yeah. So it's going to come back to him. And if you don't get Wiggins back, y'all going home early.
Okay. All right. Now, the number 1 seed and the Bucks are number 1 seed in the East. Celtics, 76ers, Cavaliers, the New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets. Even though they've made the trade, they're still in the 6th spot. Miami Heat and the Hawks round out the top 8. The next 2 in the playing games would be Raptors and Bulls will face the Heat and the Hawks respectively. In the West, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, which is in my opinion, kind of a surprise. Kings in 3 spot. Phoenix Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers in the 7th spot. it's almost like a flip flop where they went outside looking in with the Mavs. We got the Pelicans and the 8, Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Lakers, it seemed like when LeBron went down, they seemed to galvanize themselves. And I forget the guy's name, number 15, went out there and he started balling. And Austin Reeves seemed like it became the Austin Reeves team. And because, AD, as always, is hurt. And I hate to say that. He always hurt. It's like he'll play 2 games and he'll sit 3.
I mean, he just don't want that. He don't want that title, man. And as soon as everybody understand that, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I said this. I told a couple of cats at work. LeBron gonna be the LeBron with LeBron coming back. It's gonna hurt them.
Yep.
Real talk. I
believe that. Yep. Yeah, because the focus was on the team, and now when LeBron come back, the focus on LeBron.
Gonna be like the Knicks when Carmelo went out that year, and then Carmelo came back, and they were gelling. Then Carmelo came back, ball stopped, everything was over. So I mean, I'd just be glad when he retired. I really would. I really will.
I would hope that he get a chance to play with Bronny, like the Griffeys got to get a chance to play against each other, well, with each other, I should say. I hope that actually comes to fruition for him. But for the long-term prospects of Los Angeles, he did his job. He brought a championship to the city, and you call it bubble champ if you want to. At the end of the day, it's still a championship. And,
I don't know if I can count that.
Well,
I don't know if I can count.
The NBA is not putting a asterisk next to it, so let's go ahead and let them. It's a championship nonetheless. At the end of the day, they got the rings and the banners and the rafters. So long-term prospects, that's something more you're gonna that's what you got to do. Like the Jazz. The Jazz understood that they had we're not going where we need to go, so we're gonna need to make some changes. And they knew that they had to bring it back a little bit to get in the lottery, to get a few extra picks and make those trades, get those extra picks that way. Retool, bring down your salary cap a little bit, and do it that way. The Blazers, at some point, I hope they will go ahead and trade Dame, because Dame is not going to leave, and I would hope that he would go somewhere to where he could be, at least have a chance at being a championship. If he stay up there, and I understand that's old school basketball. This was drafted me. This is where, that's where I want to be. The city love him. He love the city. But don't get the championship. Now you did what you're supposed to do. You did it. You made the love was there, and they'll understand that. They won't be mad at him. They won't be mad. All right, going to transition to the college basketball. Most of this is people leaving their respective teams. First and foremost, Hunter Dickinson leaving Michigan. That came out yesterday. I never thought that would ever happen. I understand it's a graduate transfer, but he's been a Michigan man from the day he walked on campus, from embodying the school to to being the enforcer, to being the main person against Michigan State. So I would, I don't like his style of play because it's been effective against my team. But you got to respect him, and he's leaving, and that to me is that's something. That's a.
I mean, it's more. I'm sure it's more to it. What because I'm sure him and Jawan probably had words, and he probably was like, let me go on, because they say the guy who's supposed to back up Hunter Dickinson is just as good or whatever. So, I mean, only time will tell. But at the same time, are you really losing something with Hunter Dickinson? No, not really. Because I mean, if your game was as good as you troll Twitter and all that, you would be a beast.
Very true, very true.
He probably gonna end up going somewhere in the Big Ten. He probably, I wouldn't be shocked to go down there and play with Tom. Anything's possible.
Now that would be, oh man, that would be a Groundhog Day. I wouldn't see him leaving Michigan. Something I would see coming if he go up the road to Michigan State out of spite, and Tom accepts him.
Okay.
Ooh, that would be
Okay, so
something else.
here we go. Mateen was supposed to be a Wolverine, but he ended up being a Spartan.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And that's some of that that old school modern day recruiting. Um, uh, I don't know how we got this car. I don't know how we got on this accident, but whose
He
name
fell
is in
asleep.
this car?
He fell asleep at the wheel, man. We didn't all know that. We didn't all dozed off for a minute behind the wheel. I'm not condoning that. It was a late night. I fell asleep at the wheel.
But we're not gonna rehash that. That's old news. Stephen Harris.
I don't want to revisit it neither, but I'm just saying the dude fell asleep at the wheel. I mean,
we want to say
late
thank you
night.
to Stephen Hill. One where the bad boys come back. When it's only be back when they're gonna watch the 30 for 30, my brother. My adopted Florida team go Owls. I agree with you. I'm that's they underdog, so I'm gonna cheer for them. He said bye Hunter. Reminds me of Lane Beard. But Lane Beard was on our team. Any guy like that, you gotta love him because he's on your team. But if you're on somebody else's team, then you hate him. Let's see. Ismail Masoud is leaving Kansas State. Guy had a great game, great tournament, and he was a starter for Kansas State. And next you know, he's leaving. I don't know. Of course, there's a story behind that. Why? I don't know. But he's going somewhere else. Right now, probably the biggest news in college sports is Pitino is going to St. John's. Mr. Pitino, Mr. Slick, literally with that hair. I don't know how you keep it.
Rick is that guy. Rick is that guy. Rick is that. You know what? He done had next to Lane Kiffin. Rick Pitino had some nice little jobs.
Okay. Speaking of which, he started in Hawaii. Then he was at Syracuse as an assistant. Head coach at Boston University. Assistant with the Knicks. Back to Providence when he started really making his bones. Then he went to the Knicks as a head coach. Then he went to Kentucky. Then he went to the Celtics. How you go to the Knicks to the Celtics in the same conference? Oh, my God. But then, same thing again. He went to Louisville after leaving the Celtics. Went down to Puerto Rico after he had the trouble in Louisville at the restaurant. And he coached in Greece. Then he coached another Greece team. And now he's at Iona, turned them around. And now he's at St. John's. And it is no doubt in my mind, unless he find an untimely death, that St. John's will be back in grade 8, Final Four over the next 2 to 3 seasons, like he has always done. Say what you want about him. Pitino wins. Pitino and Petrino, you know what you're getting yourself into. You're going to do a little dirty pool here and there. You're going to get the players in there, and they're going to win.
Yep.
Petrino in football, Pitino in basketball.
Absolutely.
So you make that deal, and you go do your Hail Marys because somebody on the other side is sitting on the pentagram, doing some kind of other stuff, bringing them in. So they're gonna be okay. St. John's, Providence to St. John's, many years later, same Big East. Let's see, Louisville was Big East as well because that by then they had went from the other conference to the big conference with Big East. So that's what 3 Big East teams was Providence, Louisville,
Providence was a Big East team,
and St. John's. That's 3 Big East teams. Now that is incredible. That's unheard of.
I mean, Rick, like I said, Rick a good coach. I think he only won 1 national with Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he won one.
Only won that one, yeah.
Yep.
He had some players.
Yes, he has. He won national championship in '96 at Kentucky, in 2013 at Louisville. So he's won twice.
Yeah, that 2013 they beat Michigan.
Yeah. Louisville was Conference USA before it transferred over to the Big East. Right. Further down the line, when they had that super conference, was it 18 teams in the Big East or something like that? Yeah. The whole basketball conference. Yep. The greatness that they have, but that is now no more. On the local front, PJ Brooks is transferring out of Michigan State, and which is, in my opinion, not much of a surprise. I know initially I was really excited about him going to state. It's hard to get a DPS kid to Michigan or Michigan State. So for the Izzo to go in there and get him out of there which was almost kind of a coup. And until I started seeing him play. Now, of course, I know the father. We had him on the show, and I didn't know that his game was quite opposite of what Tom does until I started watching him play. I saw him playing that championship game in the Michigan State in the MHSA championship game where they won. What he does is opposite of what Tom does as an offensive team. So defensively, I can understand him going there and learning the defensive side, a high level playing shells. But offensively, his style of play does not match what Izzo does. So I can see where he would leave to go to another school. I don't know where he's going to go. That wasn't announced. Of course, long before those announcements are made, teams have already made overtures, especially with him leading the Pro-Am last summer, lead scorer and getting all that press. I wish him the best. Of course, we want to see a local kid trying to stay local as best as possible. Is he going to go to Michigan? You never know. Like you said, Hunter could go to the state, which would be crazy. But you never know. You never know.
Now, PJ Brooks, what high school did he come out of in Detroit?
Frederick Douglass.
Oh, okay. I mean, Tom, sometimes he got to let you go, and then sometimes he don't let you go. Like I felt with Keith Applin out of the Persian. His senior year, Keith was averaging like 35. And then when he got up there to state, he was playing behind Kalen Lucas. And he was playing behind Corey Lucius and all them. So I get it. But I was like, that's a kid you got to let go. The PSL is a tough division out of the city of Detroit. You playing local kids from all over. This guy, I don't. It's okay, when we had Jason Richardson, he let Jason Richardson go. Jason Richardson could do what he wanted, whatever. Then when we got Shannon Brown, it was like, I'm gonna keep him on a leash, right? And it's like, when you got somebody, you don't keep a thoroughbred just locked up. And then it's like, Kalen Lucas was nice, you know what I'm saying? And he done had players to where I have seen, I'd be like, well, he keep a tight leash on this kid, but he let this kid, like Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges could have left after his freshman year, but he came back. But it was just like, but then it's funny because you do somebody like that, but then you get Tom there.
Let him loose, turn him loose.
All right, Tom there. Lou Ross. I'm sorry, Lou Ross, Tom there. Man.
Yeah, so that's the catch-22 of Izzo over his career. So this is nothing new. So when you got a player like that who get up and down the court, wide open style, which is pretty what the team that won the championship did. Honestly, they did that a lot. They did it in a controlled manner, but they got up and down the court. They scored. They put points on the board. He's kind of gotten away from that over the years, but
he didn't really have to credit what you're saying. He really ain't had no guard like that neither. See, the difference with that 2000 championship team that you're referring to, Mateen couldn't shoot, but Mateen could run the team.
Right.
But the man for the team was not Mateen. The man for the team was, what's his name? The dude that used to fly out the gym. I can't even think of his name.
Richard was on the team.
No. Jay Richardson didn't come till after. Jay Richardson was on the team that went back and they lost in the Final Four to Lauren Woods and them in Arizona that year. The team before that, when it was Mateen Cleaves, Charlie Bell, what's my man name?
But the real man on the team was Mo Pete. Mo Pete
right.
was the
Mo
one.
Pete was that. Thank you for.
Was that guy?
Mo Pete was the man, but Mateen was the driver that drove the team, but he couldn't shoot. Because if you go back and look, that year, Big Ten honors, the MVP of the Big Ten that year, they split it. It was Scooney Penn out of Ohio State that transferred from Boston College and came to Ohio State. It was Scooney Penn and Mateen. They split the Big Ten honors that year. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
I was at that whole Ohio State game that season. That was probably one of the toughest games I ever saw in my life. Watching those guys go back and forth. That game. All right, let's see here. We got to move forward. We are moving into baseball. Opening day. Let's see here. Tigers did go on one. They lost yesterday, Thursday, and they play again today. I don't understand why you need a day off on the first weekend of play. Why didn't they play last night? Maybe because of the Final Four. I don't know, but they don't play again till 3 in the afternoon. Best probably story of opening day, and I'm not even gonna comment on it. I'm just gonna say it. Meg Thee Stallion threw out the first pitch at Houston's home opener, and I'm not gonna touch that. I'm just gonna say, if you want to comment on it yourself, go watch the video. I sent it to you, sir, to see.
That's what that was. Oh,
that's what that was. Yes, I sent you that, and
I'll have to take a look at that.
I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to say, Meg Thee Stallion threw out the opening pitch. First, they pitched for Houston before they got their rings, or after they got their rings,
and they lost.
And they lost. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say something stupid. We're gonna move forward. Pitch clock for MLB. They're implementing the pitch clock where you have a certain amount of time of a player on base that's not on base, and the batter has to be in the batter's box and set and ready to go. And you only get 2 pickoff attempts, and I like that. I like the fact that they are speeding up the game. I'm a baseball purist. My first love was soccer. My second love was baseball. I wanted to be Lance Parrish. So I understand that, I'm an old school pitcher, coaching there, giving the signals.
These April Fool jokes you saying that.
I told you before that soccer was my first love as a sport.
No, I remember that part.
The second love was baseball because I wanted to be Lance Parrish.
Lance Parrish.
Yeah, number 13, yes. I played catcher on my Little League team. I played catcher and outfield. Outfield first because I was oversized kid who couldn't really catch but could throw pretty decently. I'll let the ball hit the ground and roll, and I'll run and catch it and throw it in. And yeah. So if anybody in my old team will tell you that I sucked, and I sat on the bench as an 8-year-old baseball player. I didn't my abilities didn't catch up to me to the next year when I played football. But baseball, I was terrible. Yeah, I was terrible. But I still wanted to be Lance Parrish, my favorite player, and then Lou Whitaker, my second favorite player. So they're showing things that baseball is trying. They're trying to make the game better. They also increase the size of the bases, so they're wanting you to steal bases. They're wanting you to speed up the game and make it more exciting. And at the end of the day, you adapt or die. That's what happens. If you don't adapt, the game will die. And I would like to see them taking a step closer, another step in terms of putting baseball academies in the city. A lot of these inner city kids will be great baseball players. Will be great baseball players, but they don't see themselves in the league. If you don't see yourself in the league beyond somebody from the Caribbean, you're not going to want to play that sport. So I know I played Little League, played PAL, played about 4 different teams. I loved it as a kid. Plus I lived down the street from Tiger Stadium, so I got I saw it that way. These kids don't see that anymore. They want to play basketball, football, which is nothing wrong with that, but baseball is out there for them too. All right, Mr. Stephen Harris is very active with us today. I'm sorry I missed his statement. After which the national championship, Patino was an honorary Ryder Cup captain at Valhalla in Louisville. That makes sense to me. Who was the other honorary captain of Valhalla 28? That I don't know, sir. That I don't know. Other than Cabrera, I don't know a single Tiger. I do. What's the guy who I'll call his name. Give me just a second. It'll come to me. The guy who they kept sending back and forth to the minor leagues that play in the minor leagues for the Tigers back and forth. Muhammad Ali, that's the answer. And Mr. Dan Williams say, "Sweet Lou Whitaker." Yes, sir. All right, let's move forward. We want to make sure we try and get all our topics in. We want to talk about we are now talking about the NFL. And I almost forgot. Don't forget to click like, click share. Let people know that we are here. And like I said, we've been saying our goal is to be the Soul Train of Saturday, of this generation Soul Train. So when you got up on Saturday morning to clean the house and open up the windows, even though no matter what the season was, And if it was hot, if it was cold, your mama told you to open them windows and you got cussed out if you didn't open them up fast enough and let the open front door and the back door, let that breeze come through. We want you to open up your computers and come on here and watch Felix and I here on Sports Talk with Kamau Felix. That's what we want. We also want you to go to Love and Stuff on Tuesdays at 8:30. Love and Scriptures with Reverend Dr. Williams and the newly minted Dr. Valencia Edner with V Encourage on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find them through our Love and Stuff page. Don't forget to go to our Sports Talk page and join there. I send out a bunch of requests every week to different people, and we have been people joining consistently. We want to thank you for that. And so, football, mock drafts. The real draft is April 27th in Kansas City. I'm so sick of all these mock drafts. Every time you turn on TV, they got a new mock draft from this guy, that guy, and his mama and his cousin. I'm waiting on the draft. Instead, the Lions supposed to pick this guy. They supposed to pick this. They supposed to trade this guy, trade for this guy. They're gonna use this pick to trade for a guy that's already established. It's exhausting, and I feel bad for all the pundits out there because this is what they got to talk about every day. There's nothing new to talk about but the new mock draft. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Because, I mean, it's going to change 15,000 times until the 27th, right? It's going to be Jaden Carter. Then it's going to be somebody else. Then it's going to be this. Then it's going to be the kid out of Florida, the quarterback out of Florida. It's like.
Quarterback out of Ohio State. Is he going to
quarterback out of Ohio State?
Is he too short?
Right. Bryce Hunter, is he? I mean, like the guy told Tim Tebow. What's his name? The NFL guy. Tim, what's the guy's name for ESPN? Todd McShay. He's like, Todd McShay don't make draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, right? They're supposed to say who's going to go here and who's going to go there. You know, I mean, everybody has a pass. It's just when your pass catch up with you. Because I feel bad for the kid that entered the draft from Alabama. Yeah. That's going to hover over his head. Mm-hmm. Just like Carter out of Georgia. That's going to hover over his head. But do you deny these two individuals because they've made wrong choice? Everybody made a wrong choice. Yep. It's if you learned from the choice that you made.
Yeah. 2 Hall of Famers. Draft stock dropped really quickly right around the draft. We got the Tampa Bay out of Florida. What is his name? Defensive tackle. All-American. His draft stock dropped after he smoked marijuana. He got caught busting in the test. And then you got the wide receiver who went to all the different schools. His draft stock dropped to number 20, and the Lions drafted Terry Fair instead of drafted him. Terry Fair out the league in 3 years, and we could have had a Hall of Famer. Right. But I still get mad thinking about that. I remember sitting in the sports bar, Terry Fair. You got to be kidding me. Right behind him.
Hey, at the end of the day, Terry Fair did win the national championship. He was on that Tennessee national championship team. They beat Florida State that year. So I could kind of see. And then look who was running the regime, Matt Miller. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a quality player off a national championship team. You really can't ask for too much more than that, right? Think about it. Look at the 1 year when Matt Millen drafted Calvin, Mike Williams, James. What's the running back there? Kevin Jones. That was a straight little team. Yeah. And then the following year, he followed it up with Fairley and Sue and all of them. So he did some good things too, but he did some terrible things.
Things too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers still not traded. I got a feeling he gonna stay in Green Bay. I've said that from the beginning that he's gonna be in Green Bay. And I really don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers too much because I'm sick of him. Lamar Jackson asked for a trade. That just came out 3 weeks later. It seemed like the smear campaign against that man is so bad. What did that man do for him to come after them? For them to come after him like that? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. He is a top 10 player in the league, easily. They're punching him because Cleveland gave that boy a guaranteed contract. So if he can really say my stats are better than him, He's not done anything more than I have done. And you're paying him, then I should be worth. I'm not saying I should be getting Pat Mahomes money. I'm not saying I should be getting other guys' money. But I know my worth. And they're like, what? You don't have an agent. Mommy can't do it for you. Why not? There's a lot of guys out there whose parents negotiate their deal.
I think it's more of Lamar is stubborn to where he's like, I'm not gonna get an agent. I'm gonna bet on myself. The NFL don't like that, right? Usually they have somebody who talks for you, right? Mm-hmm. So he betted on himself, and it also panned out. So with that being said, when you bet on yourself, who knows you better than yourself? So at the end of the day, he said, okay, y'all don't want to pay me. Why would I go out here and risk getting hurt further than what I may be hurt now when I can sit out them last 4 games? So Baltimore, like, okay, RG3. At the end of the year, you're going to come to us because you're going to get paid. So what they're going right now is tit for tat. That's all. But eventually, you're going to have to pay the piper or you're going to have to trade him.
Mm-hmm. Right now, he has the conditional tag on him where he'll make the average of the top 5 quarterbacks with somewhere between 32 and 35 million for one season, which is not good. It's not bad money. It's nothing to sneeze at.
No, but not good money neither.
It's great money. Like, you give me that for 1 year, I'm gonna be around this, sweeping the locker room at the end of the night after I win the game.
You give me that for 1 year, I clean the stadium.
Right.
I clean the stadium with the Burt Reynolds hat on.
After winning the game, we're gonna win this game. I'm gonna get my crew. We're gonna go clean the stadium.
Absolutely.
I agree. Let's see here. I still think it's collusion, but can you prove it? Probably not. Let's see here. Yeah. Really quickly, Stephen Harris. Lions are looking good on paper. Yes, they are. They are on track, according to the pundits, to win the Central this year. And he says Jalen Carter to the Lions. We're running a little short on time. We're gonna really quickly take a pause for the cause as we go through Stupid Sports News. All right. Charles Barkley doubling down on Jordan talk. Last week they had Charles Barkley on 60 Minutes, and he talked more about Jordan and why they're not friends. And if I'm Barkley, why not talk about it? Because he's not gonna be my friend no way. It was okay for Jordan to talk about Barkley, how he's not gonna lose weight, like he'll never win a championship. But Barkley can't say you did a terrible job as the Charlotte Hornets leader. Why can't he say it? But if you can talk about him, why can't he talk about, and where I see it, both of those critiques were right. It wasn't like they were, he said he's just a terrible player. He's a good player, but his ceiling was only going to go so far, which was pretty much the book on Barkley anyway, which wasn't nothing new. But the truth also was Michael Jordan was not doing what he should have been doing to win a championship. He did more in practice to play against them than he did to bring in the good players to win a championship. So when you got 6 of one, half a dozen of another, why is either one of them at? Barkley took it, went to practice every day, said, hey, and just continue to play his best. So, come on, Mr. Jordan. It's a little uneven here. What you think?
That's the GOAT, man. You can't disrespect the GOAT. He know he's not a good business manager as far as running a team. Mike is the GOAT in basketball / the GOAT that everybody sells. He sells a gym shoe every week, like today. The Cool Gray 11 low tops released today. You don't think people? He never would have known that.
I've only liked one Jordan shoe, and that was the number 1. I've only liked the one.
See, this is why I learned so much stuff. Is that an April Fool's joke too?
That's the truth. Those red and black ones with the wings, with the red original ones, those are the best ones. And there was another one I did like that was kind of white with the gray and red on the back. I did like those. I think those were the 5s, I want to say. But I've never been a Jordan. I've never been a Jordan fan. So for me to like his shoes would be a whole nother level. Then you take those shoes and put them in a pile and burn them up like they're trying to do these books at the library. So that's how I feel about it. And I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna be mad and send some letters. And if you want to send a letter, send it to www.idon'tcare.com.
Well, okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to. I tell you, somebody who would agree with me. The man behind the scenes, click like, click share. I just gave him a nice little pair. Yeah, right. I guarantee he agree with me.
All right. Let's see here. Other Jordan news. Jordan is back channeling an apology to Isaiah Thomas. He has his buddies, Magic and all the rest of them, talking to, hey, tell Zeke I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say I hated him. That wasn't right. And Isaiah's like, no, you going to go on TV and apologize to me just like you said you hated me on your show.
That ain't gonna happen.
No, that's not gonna happen. This was on All the Smoke recently. I got it. That's my thing for the day. I'm gonna listen to that podcast. I do like that podcast. He has Zeke on there, and Zeke seemed like Zeke has been on the offensive ever since. Because I understand we've been cool all this time behind the scenes, but now you hate me. We go to he said we've been to dinner, we done hung out, family, in the mix, and here it is. It's like that. So I can understand Isaiah's position, but at the end of the day, leave it alone. If I'm him, if I'm Magic, I would say, hey, let that be. I love both of y'all. You my boy, you my brother. He my boy, he my brother. Sometimes we not gonna, we have to agree to disagree on this one, and so I would hope that they would leave that alone. What's your thoughts, sir?
Man, I mean, we grown, man. Look. 30-some years ago, 20-some years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's over with.
Yep, I agree. All right. And in the stupidest sports news, in my opinion of all, something that should have happened a long time ago, the Lions are considering leaving Allen Park. They're looking at getting another facility, a practice facility, where they can have people on site doing practices, and have better parking and more people on site. And I just think that's the funniest thing in the world. Because I joke about the Rangers playing in a shed in a double wide downtown Arlington. I joke about that. It's a beautiful facility on the inside, on the outside. It looks like a field house. It's classic Southern field house type. I get it, but the Lions play in a shed. They practice in a shed. It's to the point when you when you going down Southfield Freeway, they don't even put up a sign that says exit here for the Lions facility. You that's the shamest thing in my life. You so ashamed of your facility. So when the season comes, when people want to come, practices are always free, they're always open. You can't even put up a sign for people to come off the 94th or on the Southfield side. You love your team that much that you got the fields are beautiful, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But when you're driving down, you can see the shed going down the Southfield Freeway. It's on the east side. On the east side. You can see the triangle and the circle in the middle for the air to come out. Yeah. You can see that. Yeah. There's no Lions sign up under it where you can see it from the freeway. What kind of pride? We talking about Lions pride. What kind of Lions pride do you have in that facility if you can't even put I always call them Bubbles because he look like he about to smash some Bubbles. Bubbles, the lion from the side. You can't put Bubbles on the side of your building so it can be seen from the freeway.
The forts.
What kind of pride is that?
The forts.
And I'm a Lions fan, true and true. As much as I complain about, I still love the Lions.
April Fools.
That's not April Fools. That's foolish on my part for still being a big fan of them for all these years.
That's not April Fool?
Yeah, that's me. I'm April. I love the Lions. So I would hope that they would, yes, I agree with them. Let's find another facility. Let's move it downtown if we can. There's plenty of room down there. I know you got to put, the Illustrations got hold of that good prime real estate before at a cheap price. It's gonna be harder for you to find some, or just plain old use the dome. Make that your full-time practice facility. Why not? I know you probably need some more room, but for a while they had talked about getting that Cass Tech field and making that as a part of their practice facility. That was a big controversy that quickly got swept up under. And but it's been talked. So hopefully they'll get that straightened out. All right, and we come down to the end of the show. We need to make our predictions. Our next show is April 15th. Who you got? Tomorrow afternoon, LSU and Iowa.
Give me LSU 71-63.
I like Iowa. In an 83-81 game, and 22 being the MVP of the tournament. Today, this afternoon, Miami, UConn. Who you got?
I got UConn 75-71.
I got UConn 75-50. UConn is on the road. They've been kicking some butt. And Miami, I don't know. But Miami gonna have to. It's gonna be tough. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic.
And Florida Atlantic 10-9.
That's funny because I was gonna say 50-50. Who cares? In all seriousness, I'm gonna go with why not? Go with San Diego State. Let's go with San Diego State. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, y'all. See you guys in 2 weeks. April 15th, we'll be back here live in person. Let's go Tigers. Pistons finish strong, and hopefully we can get the French man. Thank you once again, sir, for hosting with me. We've had a great time once again. Love you guys for coming out this day, and everybody have a great weekend.
All righty, homie.